Uncle Trump has one shot, one opportunity to stop the death of America. One moment with a freedom of interest. But what do you win, y'all? Vivek's palms are sweaty, six big job.
Good day, freedom-loving patriots. Happy to report that the MAGA kingdom is strong and growing. My name is Anastasia Theodoropoulos, here with my colleague, Dr. Richard Panzer. Frank Scavo is on assignment with his lovely wife in Mexico on vacation. We miss you already, Frank. I know you don't miss us. But the show must go on. Let's take a look at today's agenda. We start off with MAGA promises made, promises kept. Mega investments made in the U.S. under Trump, conservative victories in Europe, Elon Musk and D.O.G.E update, Dan Bongino makes it all the way to the FBI, our interview with retired supervisory special agent with U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, Victor Avila, lunacy suggestion by Wisconsin governor to replace mother with inseminated person, NSA transgender sex chat room, and the Simon Abundance Index. Are humans on a decline or are they making progress? Well, we need to find out. Our scripture of the week and a Trump video called Wrecking Ball, which you will definitely love. So let's get started with our MAGA promises made, promises kept. This week, the White House shares what Trump accomplished in the last few days. He signed an executive order to expand access to IVF. What are your thoughts on that, Richard?
Okay, so that means in vitro fertilization. You know, there are Christians who believe that the process, you fertilize a number of eggs, sometimes 20, 30, or a larger number of eggs, and then most people don't want to have, you usually want to have one or two children, and the process includes, in many cases, destroying the fertilized eggs that you don't want to use, and they have a moral objection to that. So
it's interesting you say that, Richard, because it's no secret that my husband and I went through in vitro many, many times. And based on your insurance, the insurance will cover 1 to 2 times typically. And we ended up spending over $200,000 to try to have a child, which never worked out for us. We had all our eggs put in and none of them would catch. And then finally naturally conceived at 42. So there's news. Don't give up, folks. It's a good thing, and I think that's the way President Trump and this administration sees it, that you shouldn't go bankrupt trying to have a child.
Right.
But this is also exposing the flip side, which is when you have the opportunity that you've been really struggling and trying to get, you'll be faced and you'll be tested with what you should be doing. And if you really do believe that each of those eggs that are not fertilized, and you get an option of saying, well, you're pregnant with 2 boys and a girl, and you make that choice, that is kind of a problem because only God should be making those choices. My advice would be speak to your doctors, speak to your priest, speak to your pastor, whoever that is, and if you can't, freeze those eggs for the future. Don't shut that door off and don't kill the eggs.
Well, the other issue is that instead of waiting to get married and to have children into your late 30s, think about, instead of, maybe in your 20s, you need to be thinking, instead of having one-night stands and affairs that don't mean that much, think about getting married in your 20s, in your earlier mid-20s, and have children when the woman's body is easier to get pregnant when you're younger, right?
I'm glad you bring that up because a woman is born with only a certain amount of eggs. It's not
Right.
so something that you can, eat well and exercise and develop more. It just
Right.
doesn't happen that way.
Right.
And the second thing is most folks don't realize that, let me ask you, Richard, do you know what age a woman's eggs start declining?
Well, I heard a rumor that they just start declining basically from birth. But,
Well, it's actually 29.
all right, 29. Okay.
So
right, right.
ideally, you should be having your family. I mean, this is the DNA in your body, what
Right,
women are made to do, so to speak. Your
Right.
body is telling you your ideal time to have children is before 29 because now the eggs start dying off each year. And that's the struggle when you wait late and you don't have enough eggs. And now they have to sit there and try to stimulate the bad eggs and then pull them out and make them softer and poke at them and inseminate the sperm in. And you go through this whole process. And it's really devastating. But the point is that if you're struggling, and you shouldn't have to be rich to be able to go through the in vitro fertilization process.
But do think about getting married and having kids a little bit earlier, because if you wait, you're actually inviting some headaches.
And also, it increases the statistically if you get married in your mid-20s. I'm not saying too young, but you want to be developed. You're going to have a better shot at marriage instead of going through all these relationships and just leaving when it gets a little tough.
I mean, some people think that they have to be completely financially stable before they get married. I don't think that's true. Many people used to get married and they struggled when they were a young married couple, but you do that together.
Yeah.
You don't have to have a house before you get married.
And there's no perfect time, so you set
Yeah.
yourself up for failure and heartache.
Yeah.
So the other things that were absolutely great accomplishments were President Trump ended the taxpayer benefits for migrants, which is also very important because now you're not providing a reason for illegals to try to break the law to get here, right? You're taking away that proverbial carrot, as they say.
I think a lot of migrants realize that all the benefits, artificial benefits to come here illegally, they're all gone.
Right, including the 4-star hotel in New York.
I was thinking of sneaking over the border. I'd love to go into the 5-star hotel.
Well, maybe Frank Scavo and his
Yeah.
wife will go. That'll be their next trip. And the good news is last week we had reported that there was a 93% drop in illegal border crossings, and this week it's up to 94%. This is really great. And also Apple pledged a major U.S. investment, which we'll get into right now. We have a total of over $1.6 trillion invested in the last 30 days since Trump took office. And that includes $14.1 billion from Nepal Steel, $20 billion from the United Arab Emirates, $500 billion from Apple, $500 billion from Stargate, and $600 billion from Saudi Arabia. You know what that equates to, folks? That equates to hundreds of thousands of new jobs here in the United States. And I have a theory, Richard. My theory is when you have all these high-end jobs that need to be filled, you kind of have to increase your education and really learn things the right way. So I think, not intentionally, but I think at some point that will force our educational certifications and trainings to improve because they have to.
And alternatives to four-year college degrees. Some of these, you can go to boot camps, and learn programming. I mean, there are a lot of new alternatives.
I have a very good friend of mine who was in the military. He was in the Navy, and he started working in electronics engineering, and he just came out with his own book. And you know what? It's an amazing thing. And he had his family, and he lived out his dreams, and he's living the life. And that's the hope that you have for everyone.
Right.
Okay, so now let's take a look at recent conservative victories in Europe, because the folks should know what's going on. This is pretty contagious, this freedom thing. We want to say congratulations to the Netherlands, Austria, France, Portugal, and this weekend, Germany took a right step into moving more away from their lunacy of the liberals. But I think you have some news about that as well, Richard.
Yeah, well, the Christian Democratic Union won the most votes in their legislature. And then the ADP, which is the even more conservative party, tripled their number of members in the legislature. That's the good news. The questionable news is that the Christian Democrat Union Party is making alliance with the center leftist party. So it's kind of the unistate is they don't want to. I mean, it's questionable what will the new policies be. The German people know that they hate this uncontrolled immigration. They hate the green policies which have made energy like 3 or 4 times more expensive, and they hate the censorship. But we have to see what the government actually does, because in Great Britain, the British people also voted for conservatism over the last decade or so, and they got screwed. Even though they voted for Brexit, you know, the Uniparty in Great Britain basically said, we're going to pretend to listen to you and do nothing.
They need a little D.O.G.E themselves, don't they?
They do, absolutely.
So this is what President Trump had to say about the whole thing. The people of Germany just got tired of the no common sense agenda, especially on energy and immigration, that has prevailed for so many years. This is a great day for Germany and for the United States of America. So certainly he is hopeful, and you know what? We're hopeful as well. And now for our update on Elon Musk and D.O.G.E. And we're just going to show this very short video that will kind of highlight it all.
We've got one more surprise in case this wasn't enough. I'm going to let Elon do it. Who else is here?
Well, President Milei has a gift for me.
Javier Milei from Argentina. You guys know who that is, right? Why don't we bring him out?
Yeah. The chainsaw for bureaucracy.
We also want to say congratulations to Dan Bongino for the position of Deputy FBI Director. I'm personally a Bongino Army member, and he's been a great inspiration on the radio and also for Rumble. And we have to really kind of highlight this, Richard, which is in 2024, Dan Bongino's salary was $4.9 million. And with his new position, his government salary will be $221,000.
That is a big pay cut.
That's 20 times less money.
Yeah.
And we're kind of seeing a trend here, which is kind of like our forefathers. I think we're at the point of being reborn again, this country, where the people who are getting involved in leadership are not doing it for fame, money, or any type of fortune, but what they're doing it is they're giving everything up for the future of this nation.
Yeah.
We have not seen that.
That is an incredible inspiration for all of us. And he's doing it because he loves this country, and God bless him.
And I want to share this really short video that kind of highlights his trek and his decision making. Take a look, folks.
We've been seeing people float you as the next FBI director. Would you do it?
Would I do it? Only if President Trump personally wanted it. Oh, him, if he wanted it. I never envisioned myself going back in government again, ever. Like, ever, ever, ever. I can't say that enough. Repeating decimal, right? But, you know, there comes a time where I wouldn't even take a salary for this stuff. There comes a time where, you know, your country matters more. And I never got in this stuff for the money or the glory or any crap like that. It just happened. And yeah, it's just, I'm honored that people think that. But yeah, I'm kind of flattered. If he called, I'd have to consider anything.
And this is why President Trump said this. Great news for law enforcement and American justice. Dan Bongino, a man of incredible love and passion for our country, has been named as the next deputy director of the FBI by the man who will be the best director ever, which is Kash Patel, and they happen to be really good friends. Boy, I think there's some boots shaking now, huh?
I'm sure there are a lot of people who are getting their resume ready to be employed somewhere else.